to abide by international legislation.
Yeah.
So the conflict materials is one important thing. It's very difficult to put in place, as you probably know. But it is on one of the important things on our list to take into account.
Yeah.
Because in our industry, we work with smelters, and we need to follow the chain right up to where it is mined. But it's a very complicated process.
Yeah.
And we do that because of two reasons. We do it because our customers require. They require us to respect what they put in place. So we have to provide forms that yes, we do respect the conflict minerals.
Yeah.
And the other thing is our investors, so the people that we get our money from, they also require more and more that we present what we do in this area.
Yeah.
So it's driven by two factors: customers and by investors.
Yeah, great. Now you already answered to my next 2 or 3 questions that I would have asked you. So you have this, you are part of the RBA.
Yeah.
So by that you still, are aiming to prevent those negative social value issues that are listed in that table. And then my next question would have been, what are your main drivers for it? So that's first that your customers also require it, so they also put up pressure on you, and that your investors are also starting to ask for these topics, right?
Yes. Even one of our banks, they sent us a questionnaire a couple of weeks ago, also exactly on these topics.
Okay.
But they just asked. They said no consequences, but they ask us to provide information. What do we do about the issues that you mentioned here, the child labor? What do we do about conflict minerals?
Yeah.
Do we have a code of conduct in place? What do we do about bribing and those sort of things?
Okay. Yeah, interesting. That the entire value chain or your stakeholders are also asking for it.
Yes. Yeah.
What about the manufacturing process or the assembly, which you do in China, right? Or in Asia in general, you said.
Yes, we produce or we assemble our machines in China and in Malaysia.
Okay.
And we do some R&D, research and development, in Singapore.
Okay. And in the manufacturing process, you have similar social value issues in general in the electronics industry, like in the resource extraction phase. Do you also there have certain, or are you also engaged with those social value issues in the manufacturing or assembly phase?
Well, we are in a way, because when we sell to companies like Samsung, Apple, Intel, they ask us that we sign certain agreements with our suppliers.
Yeah.
So we need to audit our suppliers that they also respect the regulation on conflict minerals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that they are also respecting the RBA guidelines.
Okay.
It used to be the EICC, yeah.
EICC formerly, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
so
heard about it.
we have audits at our suppliers that look at these things.
Okay. Yeah.
But in many cases, it's like self-assessment questionnaires. Yeah?
Okay. Yeah.
We don't have the resources to visit the suppliers to make sure that they adhere. We're already happy if we get the self-assessment questionnaires 75% complete.
Okay.
So that's of course the theory of how we would like to do things, and that's the practice of what is feasible.
Okay.
And in practice, if we say, okay, we adhere to the Responsible Business Alliance, then it is, we need to audit our suppliers, but we don't audit the big suppliers, but most of them, they reply to us on self-assessment questionnaires.
Yeah. Okay. One question that I forgot, but it's relevant for both the resource extraction and also for the manufacturing phase, is if there are certain barriers that hinder you from even more engagement regarding those social value issues.
Well, the only barriers that we have, it's our own resources internally.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that as we engage in these matters because it's required by our customers and it's required by our investors. Of course, for ourselves also, it's good that we respect these practices, but it's driven by outside parties.
Yeah,
like I must say.
Okay.
And then if we have unlimited resources in terms of money and people, then we will do a lot more. But in our industry, you have to be cost competitive in producing our machines. Otherwise, they become too expensive, and then the cost of unit produced increases.
Yeah.
It's very cost intensive, so we you can either spend money on R&D, or you can on developing a new machine that's efficient, or you can spend time and money on supply chain.
Yeah, I understand. So for example, the reason
we spend money on the supply chain to get a cheaper product from our suppliers who respect the RBA, but if they respect it a little bit less, but they're a lot cheaper, then we make a trade-off, if you understand what I mean.
Okay. Yeah, I understand that. Okay. And when you said, for example, sometimes you get those self-assessments only filled out to, I don't know, 57 or 75%, you said?
That we get back from our suppliers. Yeah.
Okay. So that's also, what would you do then? Like ask for the complete assessment? Or?
Yes, we ask for to complete, and then we have to ask again, and some hardly speak any English. Because when we buy from local suppliers, then they don't understand, or they don't feel it. They send it back, and only half the questions are completed. And because we work with many suppliers, I think when you talk to if you would talk to our supply chain manager, I think we got more than 2,000 companies that we buy from. Then yes,
it's work intense.
From the big ones, we got the complete questionnaire and we do audits. But all the smaller ones, it's very complicated to get all your data correct. We do not hire somebody who would just do self-assessment questionnaires. And if you got so many suppliers, then we don't have the resources to handle all this properly.
Yeah, it's interesting. So that's actually also a barrier to just monitor or keep track with all those thousands of suppliers. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. I mean, it depends, of course, on where we put this on our internal priority list.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And the more our investors ask, and the more the banks ask, and the more the customers ask, the more we do in this area. Yeah. That's how it works.
Okay. Okay, great. Let's come to the use phase, and the use phase is a bit difficult for electronics products because each product is different. So your machines fulfill another purpose than an air conditioning system, for example. But what would you say? What are main maybe positive benefits that your customers or your stakeholders get from the use of your product, of your machines?
Yeah, it's always a little bit difficult. But what the example we always use, we supply, for instance, machines to Tesla.
Yeah.
And Tesla, they produce electric cars full of chips, thousands of chips, and all these chips need to be packaged using, for instance, Besi machines. Mm-hmm. So we supply customers in the electric cars, which makes it then it makes that we supply to like the green economy companies. But is that maybe not what you want to hear? You want to hear
Yeah, but
But
it's actually
probably,
now that I think about it, for your case, it's really